and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things, and a little tiny project unboxing video for you. This video is either going, well, this video goes live when it goes live. I'm unboxing this for you before I head off to Canada because I plan on working on this while I'm away. I thought, like, I don't have time really to work on these little projects while I'm here, but maybe I could do a couple or something while I'm gone. So that's what this is, a tiny weaving kit. I saw it at Christmas when I was looking for other things online. I got it from Amazon. The price is on the screen for you. On the back it says $9.95 USA, $12.50 in Canada. Says add bohemian flair to your office or home with tiny woven wall hangings. This charming kit comes with everything you'll need to create 2 different types of woven tapestries, including 2 miniature looms, a miniature comb, a needle, assorted thread and yarn, and an instructional mini book. So I've opened this up for you on camera, but I have not seen what's inside. Yeah, so let's take a look. I don't know if I said this or not, but this is an unboxing and review video. So we're doing the unboxing now, and then we'll do the review video when I get back. Those are kind of cute colors. I wonder if, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so in this we have 2 little looms and a comb. So it looks like we have like a wider toothed loom and a finer toothed loom. And then here's the comb. It's a weird kind of khaki kind of green color. Like not my favorite kind of green, but it's not bad. Maybe sage? Like a gray sagey tone? I'm terrible with colors. But you know what I just did? Completely off topic, is I looked up the difference between teal and turquoise, and I've had them wrong this whole time. Turquoise is the lighter version and teal is a darker version, more saturated, deeper, moodier. So all this time in my entire life I've had teal and turquoise switched. But anyway, and then I looked up aqua and how we talked about aqua and mint, and I fell down a color rabbit hole. But anyway, I'm terrible with colors, but I would say that this is kind of like a sagey kind of green. It's a very calming color. And then we've got the yarn. It says that there should be a, oh yeah, there's needles in the middle. So the yarn is the same for both. There's gray, I guess turquoise, camel kind of golden color, and then like almost like a navy blue. Same in both. It looks like the amounts are different. Like there's a lot less in this one than there are in this one. And then we have a really blunt tipped needle. That's the kind of needle that I use for like plastic canvas and stuff too. So that's kind of neat. And then we have this little tiny weaving tips. This is very similar to the Pusheen cross stitch box I got a couple of years ago. So I'm assuming that this is going to be like a really good little book. Published in 2019. Introduction, tapestry weaving, and plain weave. So supplies. Practically everything you need to get started at your fingertips. Tiny tapestry loom, tiny plain weave loom. So this one is a plain weave loom, and this one is a tapestry loom. An adorable comb, a tapestry needle, embroidery floss for tapestry warp. Though they're both yarn. And assorted yarns. All you need to grab are some scissors. Then it breaks down the terms. Step 1, threading, tying off, weaving, changing yarns, cool. Patterns, finishing. And then plain weave. And weaving. So, okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna play around with this while I'm on vacation. They said that there's embroidery floss, but it shows that there's, like, on the box, it's just the yarn, right? You can tell in here that they're both yarn. So I have a massive amount of embroidery floss hanging around wanting to be used. So maybe I'll grab some of that and include it in this kit too. Just in case the yarn doesn't work out for me as well. So yeah, that is this little mini tiny weaving set. Like I said, I'll work on this over vacation and come back to you. So for you, it will be, what, a matter of seconds. For me, it'll be, I don't know, a week, maybe 2. So yeah, I'll be back to chat with you about how I feel about this soon. Okay, so we're back. I thought I'd be gone a couple weeks. It's been almost a month, I'd say, since I did my first video. But here we go. We can talk about my overall thoughts on this guy. I packaged everything up in this lovely thing that I made from Sewers Club, pouch that I made from Sewers Club for June, so that I had everything together while I traveled. It's all in here. So if you were curious about how well this works, it works pretty good. I'll show where that came from. Most of the stuff I keep in here. Here's the needle. For some reason I have a seam ripper in here, but here's like a pair of scissors that you need. This is really the only item from the kit that they don't include, but I have a comment about that too. Here are the 2 looms, the lovely little instruction book, the comb, some of the things that I made. We'll talk about those in a minute. Oh, here's the other one. And then in here is the leftover thread. And the 4th one that I made. All right, so what are my thoughts on these? What did they turn out looking like? All of that jazz. So they're missing the embroidery thread in this. I don't know if it's supposed to come with it or not. The box said it did. In here it makes the assumption, that we have embroidery thread. And as you can see doing the setup, you need the embroidery thread to do like a proper looking tapestry weave, because you need thin threads going up and down, and then you use the thicker threads going back and forth. Now I did include embroidery thread with my kit. I grabbed some pink and some purple because I like pinks and purples, and I like this really multicolored stuff, right? I really like this purple multicolored. I used it once. I used this pink multicolored, right? And then I had some purple too. But when I was reading through this, it talked about how you use this as like your base for weaving. Like you can see in this photo here, right? You have like skinny lines running up and down. It's a drawing, not a photo. But skinny lines running up and down, right? And then thicker lines running back and forth. And in here, in the setup for your first tapestry weaving thing. It says grab your embroidery floss, set up the tapestry warp, right? And then it walks you through it. And then when it goes to the next one, weaving, right? It says thread your tapestry needle and begin weaving by picking over and under every warp thread, leaving a short tail. All right, like you can see in the pictures though, that you have like a skinny line for the embroidery thread and a big line for the yarn, right? And without a thin thread, you don't have like the same kind of look as you would if you had like a thick yarn. So I never actually made this properly because I didn't have the right color tapestry thread to go, because the purple and stuff just didn't really jive with the colors that you had, right? And because I didn't look at the book first, I just grabbed some random embroidery thread. I don't think they turned out very well. So setting it up was pretty easy. They walked you through it really well. Basically, I'll just pick this one apart because it's smaller. Okay, I'm back. I did knot it like I thought I would, but I'm going to quickly show you on here how easy it is to set up. Now the instructions say to like tie a knot here like around and stuff so that this stays put, but I find it's just as easy to hold it in my hand. So you start basically by running it on one side. You can tie a knot like here if you want to hold it in place. I'm just going to hold it in place with my hand, and then you, instead of doing what I thought you would do, which is wrap like this, which never made sense to me, it's you wrap like this and then you go up your next tooth and like that and back and forth. I'll show you on the back side what it ends up looking like. Right, and then they end at the same side, so then you snip your thread and tie it off, and then on the back you see how it's staggered like that on both sides, so that you have like a nice easy area on one side, and then when you're done working with it you can just like slide these right off like so. Oh, I got that caught. Right, like so. Right, and then at the end you have like a finished little tapestry. Then to work with it, you have this needle here that you put your thread on. They walk you through how to get it started and stuff like that. But what I find really, really cool about this is that the needle is exactly the same length as what you're working with. So it's really easy to pick through this and make like your pattern, right? Like you can see how it all sits on there together, right? Over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. So it makes working with these things pretty easily with this little guy. This one here is just a tighter loom, like a tighter fit. So you have two kind of different looks that end up coming out of it. But in general, like the actual instruction booklet and these things really kind of help quite a bit. It's just because we're missing the loom, or we're missing the embroidery thread that should come with this set. It's hard to actually get started on your first one. So this is the leftover yarn that I have. Easily I can make like probably another one, maybe 2 more projects with it, probably 1, because it can eat up quite a bit of yarn. And yeah, so let's take a look at the things that I made. So my very first one was this guy here, and this is on the 8 on this loom here. Right, I kept everything pretty uniform. I was lazy in my finishing, which is why I just tied it all off. But I kept it in like pretty uniform in the coloring and stuff like that. I did use like this tonal thread, or this gradient thread, and this is what came out from it. Right, here's the front, here's the back. They walk you through how to finish it and everything like that too, which is really cool. So this was my very first one. Here's a photo of me working with it at like a lakeside beach while my cousin swam. So this was my very first try, and this is when I realized that the colors that I have weren't going to work together very well, so I just made it like a very simple, straightforward one. You can't see the threads in this at all, like the up and down there. It's all hidden in the coloring because they're the same coloring. Next, I made this guy here on this loom and made it the same day as my first one. Same idea, I just kind of messed with coloring and stuff like that. But with this one, I found that this needle is too big to finish it off properly, so I gave up. And I'm gonna go back in and pick all of this stuff out and use a smaller needle, like a smaller embroidery kind of needle or something, to finish this properly. But like without that, it looks pretty cool. So for size comparison, right, they're the same length, but their widths are different because, right, you're using two of the different looms. Then I made this one out of thread using this loom again. This is the back side, this is the front side, or no, this is the back side. Or is this the front side? It looks like it's the front side, but a piece of thread has come loose, or yarn has come loose. Yeah, that's the back side. So I started variegating colors, right? This was just one solid piece of, this was actually two pieces of thread, I think, that I snipped and merged together. This one was one solid piece of thread. But yeah, this was me starting to mess with color and stuff like that. And because it didn't come with embroidery thread, I wanted you to see what it would look like if you just had the yarn, and this is what it turned out like. And then this one here is the one that I finished a couple of days ago. They only take like a couple of hours at most. Like this is the one that took me the longest. It took me a couple of hours to complete. And this is more of like a traditional tapestry weaving. Like you can see the underside, right? Like the colors that I start. The warp, I think they're called. And then like this is the left or the other way around, I'm not sure. But these are the colors and how they worked together like this. This is by far my biggest one. And it's because I use like every available inch or like millimeter of this to complete it. Because I didn't want, I don't know, I was just experimenting and I was doing angles with this one, trying to get triangles. And it's not perfect, but I don't think it's terrible for my first attempt. These two are made on the same thing, and you can kind of see the size difference depending on the type of thread that you're using. Like this is yarn, this is embroidery thread, and that's kind of how they came out looking. So one trick that I wanted to show you with these two is, like here, I'll show you on this side with finishing. So how they want you to do it is they want you to thread your like leftover piece here. Well, here, I'll go this side. Thread your leftover piece. Oop. Right, and then work it into your stitches. Like you go into 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Pull it in, kind of like you did with cross stitch and I think embroidery too, right? You hide the thread in the stitches, but the problem is my needle is too big for these stitches, right? And so, and then these guys here, these little ones, they're actually really small for being able to try to push it back down with this needle. So what I did is I took this extra piece of thread. That's what I did on this bottom section here. I took this extra piece of thread, threaded it through the hoop, and then I brought one of the sides up and into my eye so that I'm holding it tight like inside, and then I threaded it through so that when you pull through, right? You pull your loop down right through your few pieces, and then you can get your thread to release. So this is down and in and nice and tight, and then this is what they end up looking like. So if you had like a smaller needle, right, to work through here, you can make this really nice and clean and then trimmed it off. I didn't trim it because I kind of wanted you to see what it looked like before you trimmed it. And then, did I thread this? Yeah, and then this is what it looks like after you've cleaned it up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's this kit. What do you think? Are you a weaver? Does this kit annoy you, bother you in any way? Let me know in the comment section below. I've never officially tried to do any kind of weaving, so when I saw this kit was up on Amazon and it was on sale, I figured, oh, might as well give it a shot. Do you like my little creations that I've started? My husband asked what I'm going to use them for, and I have no idea. But I can definitely see playing with these in the future, especially when I get better at like making them and making them. Get better working with it and stuff like that. And I am going to try, I'm going to pull out the thread and pull out a color that actually matches with my yarn and see if I can make something a little cleaner, a little tidier. If I do, that will go up on Instagram to give you a nice little update. Editing Fred here. I realized as I was editing this that I never actually gave you my final thoughts and opinions on this. So before I do my little sign off, I'm just going to tell you what I think about this kit. I'm on the fence about it, I have to be honest. It is $10, which I know isn't a whole lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but it can be a lot of money as well. It kind of just depending on like where you are, right, financially. So would I buy this kit again? I don't know. Would I buy another kit similar to this? Yes. And the only reason that I hesitate to buy this is because it doesn't come with the embroidery thread. So I can't make the official, like the original tapestry that they initially walk you through because I don't have that embroidery thread. And I honestly believe you need that kind of thin thread compared to like the thicker yarn to get the right kind of look in your first tapestry. The quality of the yarn is okay. It's not the best, right? I've definitely experienced like softer, smoother, nicer to work with yarn. The quality of the plastic and everything like that is top notch. The book is really good. I really enjoyed reading the book and going through that. But just the sheer fact that they did not include the embroidery thread kind of makes me hesitant to suggest buying it for yourself. If you do want to try out weaving and you think that you can just substitute your own thread or go out and buy thread, I think it's like $1 or something to pick up some black thread or some white thread or something like that. Go for it. I just I'm not 100% gung-ho by this kit. So yeah, I'll let that be my final statement, and I'll get right back into the sign off. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Maybe think about subscribing. I do these little unboxing and review videos every so often. Mostly on Mondays I do, well, it's miscellaneous, so anything that I really feel like. Unboxing videos, review videos, house updates, things that are usually crafting related though. Almost solely crafting related, except for Cat Lady and sometimes some other things. Wednesdays are sewing content. This Wednesday is my project revisit video. Next Wednesday is our project review video for this month with Sewers Club. And then Fridays are a long-term project. I believe this Friday, my birthday, Yay! We are actually finishing the main body of our cross-stitch angel. Exciting times. I can start to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm very excited about that. So if any of that interests you, maybe think about subscribing. I'd love to have you. I'm tiny, but I enjoy seeing every single one of you. And yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna go. It is 3 o'clock in the morning and I need to get this video up for 10, so it's time to go edit it. So I will say thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye!